Right, now let's proceed to lesson 13. Right, so these are the last questions for differentiation, I think. And then now we're going to do cubic functions after this, right? So let's do the last exam questions, question 17. And then from there we're going to start the cubic functions. Right, so now let's look at question 17, 17.1. They say determine dy by dx if that is the case. So let's look at that. So if we've got x plus x to the negative 2 squared. Remember, firstly we start by simplifying the function. So it's x plus x to the minus 2 twice there. So y x times x is x squared plus x times x to the negative 2 is x to the negative 1 plus x to the negative 2 times x is x to the negative 1 plus x to the negative 4, right, based on the laws of exponents. So this is x squared. Okay, let me write that clearly there. So it's x squared plus 2x to the negative 1 plus x to the negative 4, right? And then what do we do now? We just differentiate. Therefore dy by dx is 2x minus 2x to the negative 3 minus 4x to the negative 5, and then eventually is 2x minus 2 over x to the 3 minus 4 over x to the 5. That's it. That was our 7.1. Beautiful as it is. Actually it was 7.1.1. yes, 7.1.1. so now let's look at 7.1.2. 7.1.2, we've got y xy squared, it's 4 if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yes, right. So number one, we're going to divide everybody by x, and then we have 4 over x. Then since we've got a square there, that means we're going to have plus or minus the square root of 4 over x, which is going to be y is plus or minus 2 over the square root of x. Remember, according to the laws of sets, the square root of x over y is the square root of x divided by the square root of y. That's what we did here. So we just set the square root of 4 divided by the square root of y, and then that is plus or minus the square root of 4 we know is 2, the square root of x is just the square root of x. Then now y is plus or minus 2 over x to the power half, and then y is plus or minus 2 x to the minus half. That means we're going to have two functions there. So y is positive 2x to the minus half, or y is negative 2x to the minus half. Then we can now differentiate. Dy by dx is actually negative x to the negative 3 over 2, or dy by dx is actually positive x to the negative 3 over 2, as per the rules of differentiation, power rule. Then now that is negative 1 over x to the 3 over 2, or dy by dx is actually 1 over x to the 3 over 2. So this is dy by dx. Right, so that is beautiful. Now let's look at 17.2. Now I'm interested in 17.2. 17.2 is quite interesting. So we are told that f of x is actually what? X squared is actually x squared minus 4 over x squared, if I'm not mistaken. But let's double check that. So 17.2.1 says determine the gradient of the tangent at the point where x is 2. Right? So we're looking for the gradient of the tangent at the point where x is 2. Right? So that is 17.2.1. So okay, let's differentiate. Before we differentiate, we have to write our function in this form. Right, all the terms should be in that form there. So that means we have to fix the second term. So we've got something like that, right? Then we can just differentiate. F prime at x is 2x plus 8x to the negative 3. That means f prime at x is 2x plus 8 over x cubed. But we are told at x equals to 1, right? Sorry, at x equals to 2. Then we do this. Then I'm going to say mt, meaning the gradient of the tangent, is f prime at 2, which is 2 times 2 plus 8 over 2 cubed, which is going to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. So that means the function at x equals to 2 is increasing by a rate of 5. Then 17, is it 7 or 17? Yeah, 17.2.2, they said determine the equation of the tangent in question 17.2.1 above. Right, remember we are only given the x coordinate, so for us to determine the equation of any straight line, we need to find the x and the y values. So that means for y is going to be f at 2, which that means we're going to substitute into the original function, which is actually 2 squared minus 4 over 2 squared. Right, so that is going to be 4 minus 1, which is 3. So that means we've got 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 are actually the points of contact, or 2 and 3 are actually the point of contact. Therefore, y minus y1 is equals to x is equals to m multiplied by x minus x1. Remember, you have this from the formula sheet, right? Then y minus 3 is 5, x minus 2. Remember, the 5 is the gradient that we just got above here. So negative y minus 3 is actually 5x minus 10, and then y is 5x minus 10 plus 3, and then y is 5x minus 7. But there are those of you who prefer this one actually. So y is equals to mx plus c, right? Plus c. Am I writing back there? Yes. So that is y is 5x plus c. Then we're going to substitute 2 and 3. So where there is y, we substitute 3, and then where there is 2, so where there is x, I mean to say, we substitute 2, and then we'll have that. So that is 3 is 10 plus c, and then 3 minus 10 is c, and then therefore minus 7 is c, therefore c is minus 7, and then ultimately y is actually 5x minus 7. So this is the equation of the tangent, right? So okay, stay tuned for lesson 14, where we are going to start cubic functions.